Good day to all my fellow marks out there, and welcome to the wacky and wild world of professional wrestling, the only form of entertainment where the most dominant and menacing faction are dressed in fresh Hanes white t-shirts. Grab yourself a drink and a snack, kick your feet up and relax. You are now listening to the Groupchat Wrestling Podcast.
Hi guys, welcome to episode 18 of the Groupchat Wrestling Podcast. I'm your main host Mike, and I'm going to let the boys introduce themselves.
Hi everybody, it's Dan, Danwell KC on Twitter, your favourite Bandido fan, and I shattered because I'm renovating my flat.
Andy, and I'm alive just about.
Sound like it, Andy. Sound like it.
No, I'm dying, mate. I'll tell you all about it, why I'm dying.
Gotcha. Brett here on Twitter, that bald bro, your American hero of the podcast. Just a quick update, one day before election day here, and everything is all sunshines and rainbows here. There is no chaos, no turmoil going on. Tomorrow will go off without a hitch. There will be smiles everywhere, babies will be thrown in the air, and no controversies whatsoever.
Gene Snitsky's not there. Glad someone got it.
Is Tatanka around, is he?
He's always around.
And I'm Wrestling Mark, and Dave Meltzer owes me £1,400 as I book flights to Tokyo for next year.
I've never seen a tweet so universally debunked so quickly. I don't think.
Real.
It's just fucking ridiculous.
It's like, Dave, we love you. If you're listening to this, Dave, we love you, but with all due respect, just put the star ratings in the bag, bro. Just the star ratings in the bag, bro. Like, we love you.
How long? It was 16 minutes. The 2025 Backlash will be at the Tokyo Dome. 9 minutes later, Backlash tweet was apparently a fake. 6 minutes later, confirmed from WWE, the Tokyo Dome thing is fake. Fuck, did you need to go to WWE to find out that a tweet from a fake WrestleVotes account is fake? Like, what? Honestly, he fascinates me, man. Like I don't know. Again, he's another a real prime example of why we should stop increasing the retirement age. Just chill, man. Honestly, it's fucking hell.
Yeah, just go and play golf, and just I'll take my star ratings with a bit of extra salt these days.
I'm not gonna when I'm that age. I ain't for love nor money. I'm not working. I am retiring as early as possible. 60 was the retirement age, right? When we were younger. That's a great retirement age. You've served your purpose. You've worked hard. You've contributed to the world. Now enjoy the last 5, 10, 15, 30 years of your life, and you don't have to keep contributing, man, because This is a bad one, even by his standards. This was something else, man. From WrestleVotes, shit. I don't even know how he's seen that tweet.
Listen, the year's almost over, so he's saving his best for last.
Oh, yeah, we've got a few more corkers in the tank, I reckon, from Big Match Dave. But no, we're on a positive kick this week. Let's
all
stay
happy.
positive.
Everyone's happy this week.
We should be like this going forward.
Shall we summarize that? Because I think that AEW had a great 10 days. Last 3 main shows, 2 collisions and Dynamite. Excellent. Really good shit all round from them.
I was just going to say it was the best sequence of the weekly 3 shows I can remember in a long time, where every one of the 3 was brilliant.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, the last time
I didn't feel Rampage was a miss this time around.
Not at all. There wasn't one bad segment all week, and
no, not
people would you can tell that because people then start to pick out things.
Yeah,
and you're like, why are they picking? People are just looking for things. There wasn't one bad segment at all. Everything was so well paced, so well placed. I just thought it was a great set of 3 shows. One of the best runs, one of the best full weeks of all 3 shows that they've done in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's all. Yeah, I was gonna say it's really to break it down the simplest ways of the past 10 days, the past few shows have been great because everything is structured out throughout the week, throughout the next couple of shows, like as far as the card goes. Like
Yeah.
you went into this past Wednesday knowing every match, every segment that was going to happen a few days out before the show started. Even for like Collision, like this past Saturday Collision, we've expected Collision to be just a jumbled up set of matches and maybe a rare promo segment here or there. But no, when Saturday night came, when Collisions aired, you already know everything that was going to happen from start to finish. And it wasn't Collision, is normally just a wrestling show with just great matches, but not a lot of meat to the stories that are going on as far as Dynamite. No, you got your continuation of your storylines. You started out the show with Private Party. You're showing a renewed interest in the tag team division right there to start your show, and then you find out later in the show that they're going to have a set of matches the next few weeks to set up the pay-per-view match, which will be a fatal four-way for tag teams going forward. But you also got the Moxley segment, of Orange Cassidy on Collision. I'm like, that's your main storyline happening on a Collision, which was great for that segment. And look, going forward, it's the simplest things that Tony is doing. He's structuring out his cards a week or two ahead of time, so it's helping with ticket sales, which helps with the audience, which helps with just the feeling as you're watching on TV, like the presentation. That's just going to make the presentation better going forward. So the small little tweaks that Tony has done, I think, are making the most difference in the overall feeling, whether it's Dynamite or Collision or even Rampage for that part.
Yeah, it's like I was saying, like about maybe 2 weeks ago. I wanted like AEW to kind of like start doing this, like make the shows more intertwined with each other, because it felt like just for ages, like Collision was just like Rampage reincarnated. Like, yeah, you still get like great matches on there, like no shadow of a doubt. It's AEW, like, that's what they do, and like now it's like you're right, you're absolutely right. You know, a lot of the stories are being told on Collision now as well. Like parts of the stories are sort of like gaining a bit more visibility, and you're actually sort of given a more of a reason to tune in. And you're right, it is also because of the sort of promotional aspect. They're advertising matches sometimes as far back as 3 weeks in advance, which is what they were doing like in the early days. That used to be like regular. They need to keep this up. I just think that's a really positive thing. Like I enjoyed it all like much more, I think, this week than I not that I haven't, because like Dynamites have been on a like killer run, like, to be honest, like this whole year. So yeah, just more of the same, because I think it's working.
One thing I'd like to specifically bring attention to, just while we're on this topic before we move on, who put 20p in Orange Cassidy this week? I'm a big fan of Orange. I think we all are on the podcast. But his promo work has never been exceptional. But I think back-to-back Dynamite and Collision, he's done a 9 and a 7 out of 10 for me in terms of promos.
I think that's fair. I think a lot of the things with him are that the promo work doesn't necessarily... It's not meant to be good with him in a way, if you know what I mean. With someone who's so like got such a laissez-faire pro, someone who's got such a language style, I think his promo being just it kind of adds to his to the gloss of him, I suppose. But this week, yeah, he's got fired up. He's getting fired up for a reason. He's got a title match, and then he's joining the BCC or the Death Riders.
I think so, but I was just going to say the same as what Mark said there. Like exactly the same. His promo work is never really great. Is harsh, because they're not supposed to be good. He's not supposed to do promos, but whenever he has had to do one, he's always been good. I mean, I always go back to that one when he first spoke with the Jericho feud in the Bischoff moderated debate, and it was great. And like when he speaks, he does give off like a really really good kind of it feels powerful when he does speak, because he doesn't speak. And his whole thing of "I'm Orange Cassidy and I still don't have a catchphrase" is great. I love that.
Yeah, like just to feed off of that real quick. I mean, you look at Cassidy, like when he first debuted. Like you go back to his first match with Pac. What was it, 2020 Revolution? Remember how Chuck Taylor was talking up Cassidy, like he's gonna go there, he's gonna try. Like that's his laissez-faire like attitude, not just with wrestling, but whether it's talking or anything, really. But now he's been pushed to the brink to a point where he's in a position where we haven't seen him in the 5+ years of AEW. So now you're seeing a Cassidy character like evolution where he looks around in a sense like, remember when Wrestle Dream ended, where it's Cassidy surrounded by all the young up and coming talent of AEW. Like, they're not ready yet. They're not ready to step up into that prominent role, the one to step up to Moxley. So in a way, it's Cassidy being forced. His hand is being forced to be that more vocal, more assertive leader at this point. So I like the gradual character build up to from where Cassidy started 5 years ago till now. Like I like where he is now, and I like where he's going forward.
You mean in terms of when he's going full heel? Because that's going to be great. All the kids are going to cry. It's going to be fantastic.
Man, I'm trying to picture like what is a heel Orange Cassidy?
Well, one of you lads said a leather jacket, and I keep thinking that was me. Brilliant.
I remember
the denim off and a leather jacket for a heel Orange Cassidy. Yes, please.
Have you noticed his denim is getting darker? Now.
Yeah,
they did that last year as well, didn't they? They went darker last year for a while.
Yeah,
because lighter again. That was the Moxley feud as well, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was he did it for the Trent feud as well, because I was convinced that he was going to be the one turning and not Trent, and we were all taken for a swerve. But it's when Don Callis was trying to sign him, he got darker and darker, and they didn't do it. But stick him in a leather jacket.
It's been his attire. Now that you bring it up, like you go back to when he started, it was the lightest denim possible. Now it's every year it's gotten a shade. The denim has gotten a shade darker and darker to now where it's basically like a dark gray or black that he's wearing now. And I would love to see like when Full Gear comes along with his match in Moxley, where it's just there's no hints of gray. No, it's pure black, jacket and pants, like just black jacket, black pants, black shirt, everything.
It's just a shame that he's clearly going to lose. Like, it's too soon to make any changes. So it's just quite sad that he's it's too early to be excited about Orange Cassidy possibly winning the title.
Well, but at the same time, it's also way too early for Mox to be losing right now. So
exactly, that's what I mean. It's kind of the timing is off for any real kind of possibility of any surprise.
I don't think he's losing it to at least Revolution, is he? Because they've got to really get a stranglehold over the company and show a near impossible dominance before someone is able to come back and beat him for that title.
I'd hold it till All In, to be honest. I'd give it even longer. I'm all about. I mean, so many people seem to want these storylines tied. Like all the people who were calling for stories now want them tied up within a week for some bizarre reason. Like, no, keep them going. Like I've said before, the whole reason that the NWO worked so well initially was because it was Depression City. They were getting nothing every time they thought they had a chance. The NWO had one extra thing up the sleeve, or they were one step ahead, and that's what it needs to be. Like make us feel like they have no way out, nowhere to turn, so that when Darby does return, when Darby does get his big moments, if it is going to be Darby, or when Kenny Omega returns or whatever, then it feels like a real moment, like the back with purpose for a reason, and it's actually going to change things.
That's exactly why they're showcasing a lot of the young talent to try and defend the company, and they're subtly, well, not even subtly, they're overtly making it clear that they're not strong enough. Like they're really going to struggle against someone as powerful as Moxley and his group and everything. So
exactly, and
that's the whole point. So it needs to be
that.
bleak. It needs to be bleak on AEW for a long time, just to really drive home the seriousness of the angle.
I've seen some of these people moaning, and I'm not going to remember. I don't even remember who they are, but people moaning about the quality of the opposition. But do these people not remember the NWO? I remember the NWO, when Dave Taylor and Chris Adams were trying to fight them off at the end. You don't throw all your big guns out at the start. You kind of you go with some of these smaller guys, give them a bit of screen time, build them up a bit, have them destroyed, and then we build up to whether it's going to be a Kenny Omega turn, whether it's going to be Kenny Omega giving Hangman's head a wobble, whatever we get, whether it's going to be Darby's crowning moment, whatever we get, you build up to it so that it feels special and not just another pay-per-view.
I actually wouldn't even mind, like, if after they've gone through this lot, if there's another, I don't know, like a House of Black level kind of opposition, then the Elite return. I don't even mind if they fucking obliterate the Elite, and then it comes down to Hangman and Swerve having to be on the same page to finally do it. Something like that.
I think should be Blood and Guts. That's what I think should be Blood and Guts. Is it's like the Elite and some form of the Elite, whether it's like Kenny, the Bucks, Hangman, and Swerve, like joining forces, like in an attempt to save AEW. They put their differences aside to take on Moxley and co.
I don't even mind, like, say Moxley's right. He's gonna be. Because I think let's say he loses the title to Darby Allin. Let's say that's all in next year. So I don't even mind if he beats Darby in the time being, with someone turning to like joining them at the expense of Darby. So he beats Orange Cassidy, he beats Darby, say at World's End. He then beats a triumphantly returning Kenny Omega at Revolution, which would be a bit of a surprise. You've then got Double or Nothing and Dynasty for him to have two other opponents. It could be anyone in that time. There's so many people you can choose from. And then it comes down to him finally losing it. I do think it will be Darby. I just think that's the story they're going to tell with it.
I say Darby at Revolution. When you look at it, I think Revolution makes sense for him from this angle. Like, being at Revolution earlier this year, obviously Sting's retirement match, him and Darby side by side.
True. Like, that's a good shout.
Think of it like a circle of moment, like, at the same pay-per-view where he was side by side with Sting, winning, retaining the tag titles on that night. And then a year later, the same pay-per-view, Darby finally breaks through, wins the title at that same pay-per-view. But then, the 3 minutes celebration, adulation, and then Christian just comes with just snatching the soul out of Darby and out of just the fans there live watching it. And Christian just steals the moment from Darby, and bam, Christian becomes your new champion at the same moment.
And then Darby had his crowning moment, the proper one, All In then. Because that has to be a big title change at All In. They're always going to want to do it. That's the WrestleMania now, isn't it? They're always going to want to do a big title change at that show every year.
I just don't want a Money in the Bank moment. I hate that. It's too WWE. I know they're going to do it. Like, it's quite obvious they are, but I really don't want them to do that.
I know what you mean. It just feels too replicated.
Or can throw a little curveball at that moment. Let's say Revolution, boom, Darby wins the title. Here comes Christian Cage. Here comes his family. Hopefully Luchasaurus is Killshot's good and healthy at that time. Him and Nick Wayne beating down Darby, hands in that contract, and then boom, we hear Copeland's music comes out, and he comes to save Darby's neck.
What I'd prefer, rather, like I like the idea, but what I would prefer rather than a Money in the Bank style moment is Darby wins it, and then he's like basically on his last legs. He's got nothing left, injured maybe, and then Christian comes down with a contract and says Dynamite. The contract signed, and then we have Christian versus Darby on Dynamite with a barely functioning Darby left after he's had the complete fucking life taken from him from Mox.
Yeah.
It would be different, wouldn't it?
Yeah, just because I mean, it's just a personal thing. I hate the whole Money in the Bank thing. It's just I can't stand it.
It was a novelty at first, and then it got really stale really quickly.
I think you're right.
Into the ground.
I think that's why I don't like it, because they have run it into the ground, and it's one of them moments where you're just waiting for it to happen. Now someone's going to come down with a fucking briefcase or whatever, and it's the same with Christian with whatever is in his little fucking container. What if it is one for you? What if it's not Darby at all? Because I still don't think Darby ever doesn't. I don't think he needs the title at all. What if Darby does turn and Orange doesn't turn? What if Darby beats the shit out of Orange Cassidy?
I mean, they've hinted at it, haven't they? I mean, not hinted, but like because Moxley wanted to recruit Darby, didn't he, initially?
Yeah, and there was just that moment where it was that line when Darby that just makes me think this would be great. Was when Darby was talking to Mox about Brian Dicey. He said, "I can't believe you did that to your brother, your friend. I would never do that to Sting." And it's like, did he say that for a reason? Like, he didn't need to say that. Sting's fucking retired, you know. Is Sting going to come down to make the save and then Darby turns on him? You know, maybe says you fucking overshadowed me for the last couple of years.
Literally though, like assuming Darby doesn't turn, like, and we do get like Sting saving him from some massive beatdown. The stare down between Sting and Mox would be very, very like euphoric because
Yeah.
I don't think they ever had a match. I could be wrong. They might have tagged together, but I don't think they actually ever had a match. But obviously, you know, Sting's not he's not wrestling again, is he? He's not going to have another match again. But he just the sort of stare down with Mox would be, you know, quite like you say, like a full circle kind of moment. Sort of really sort of adds another, you know, not to the story they're telling with Darby, wouldn't it? But that could be a pivotal moment.
Maybe I just want to see the world burn, but I would love to see Sting come to make the save for, you know, with Darby like around the ring. Sting comes down to back him up to save Orange Cassidy. Sting squares up to Mox, beats his chest, and then fucking Darby Allin takes him out. I would love that. Because I mean, Darby Allin doing all of his insane shit as a heel would be fucking great. Oh man, that would be. But I like, I don't know. As much as I'd love that, part of me thinks he's one of them guys that's never ever gonna be a heel. He's just gonna be a face.
I think he would get like the most emotional response. Like if Darb, scenario in my head, like, you know, you get Cassidy and Mox at full gear. You know, you have the BCC, the Death Riders interfering, and Darby and his crew come out, and somehow Darby, you know, costs Cassidy the match, turns heel, and like that would cause, I think, of all the people who could turn heel, that would get the crowd most upset. Like that reaction of just like crying and upset. Like, let's be honest, like as far as AEW in their 5-year history, like I can't, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, have they had like a heel turn in their company that's like been like so hated by a crowd, or they've been so upset, like, you know, just that the entire crowd is just against it? Not that it's a bad booking decision, but they're just like, you know, one of the fucking original heroes is turn their back on the crowd in a sense.
I don't think they have.
Maybe. It's the only one I can think of. Even close is Kenny.
I mean, we've known, like, those fans know of Kenny's previous work in, you know, in Japan and other companies. We've seen heel Kenny Omega, but I'm talking about, like, you know, Darby just in general from his start all the way up until now. That's a visual I don't think any fan has seen though.
It's the closest they could get to that Hulk Hogan moment. NWO Hulk Hogan moments would be. But to be honest, any of the two, whether Orange or Darby, would be they would be the closest you can get to that, like, you know, that real shocking moments when you would probably have trash being thrown into the ring.
It's all good at speculating, isn't it? But I mean, Andy, you've been in Bratislava the last week or so.
I've been investigating. I know.
None of this is going to happen because you know the truth. You know the truth, really, now, don't you? Or you're getting closer to it. So why don't you fill us in? I'm
going to disappoint you. I got close, and basically, you can tell I'm under the weather. I don't sound good because I went to Bratislava, as you know. I was getting off the plane, and this fucking shady-looking dude bumped into me with an umbrella. And ever since then, I've honestly felt like I'm dying. So I don't know what's going on. But basically, I was there, sat in a cafe. I was just minding my own business, you know, just having a coffee and just looking around. I had a wrestling t-shirt on, and, you know, repping the sport, obviously. And like, it's a small cafe as well, you know, one of them little places, a bit of jazz music on the background, nothing major going on. And then I was just sat on my phone, and this dude comes over to me, just walks over, no introduction, nothing. Really shady-looking fella. It's real dishevelled look and stuff. And he just like threw this fucking napkin at me. I was like, what the fuck? So I turned around, he'd gone. And I looked at this napkin, and it just had all these numbers on it. And I was like, what the fuck is this? Is he some fucking weirdo or what? Like, I didn't know what was going on. And so I had it with me for the next couple of days while I was investigating. I've shown you some of the stuff I found, the UFO place and all that. But as I sat down later on, it was the next day maybe, I can't remember, I was sat down anyway having a pint, and I was looking at this, and it's been wrecking my head, and it clicked. It was a code. So I deciphered it, put all these numbers together, rearranged some things. And you know what it fucking spelt out? ready to rumble. I honestly don't know what the fuck was going on. That to me, ready to rumble. What the fucking David Arquette. And then ever since then, well, I was walking around and I just kept seeing people. I don't know if they were looking at me or I'm just a bit paranoid because I did feel like I was being followed. And I just kept thinking, is someone telling me something's going to happen? Like, is that like a Michael Buffer ready to rumble? Let's get ready to rumble, mate. Or what? So I just got a bit worried and I felt like I was being followed everywhere. And yeah, no, after that thing on the plane, when I got bumped into by someone with a fucking umbrella and feel like I'm dying ever since, I've just decided to drop the case, to be honest. I think I was getting too close. I still think David Arquette's involved, but I'm backing off. I can't cope. Honestly, it's fucking... I've been paranoid all week, and if I actually do survive more than the next few days, it's not really worth the risk to my health. So I think that's it. I think I'm done. So unfortunately, I don't have any updates for you on the case. It's still the same. I think it's David Arquette, but we can't know it is. We've put the evidence together, but that's it. There's no... I'm not proceeding with this investigation. I'm fearing for my life.
You gotta put your safety first, man. You get too deep. Sometimes you get too deep, man. You find an answer you never wanted to find in the first place.
That's it exactly, mate. I feel like to be honest, the shady character that gave me the napkin, he could have just been a friend warning me off. Someone who's maybe been down that path before. Maybe someone else was investigating and they got too deep and their life has been destroyed and they were just they seen me and they just wanted to warn me off, so I didn't go down that same path. I don't know. Good Samaritan. Who knows? So yeah, it just kind of threw me off my pierogi.
Did that Good Samaritan just happen to hop in their jet ski and just flee off into the foggy night site?
Do you know what? They were quite well covered, but they could well have been one of the two saviors of the world right now. Who knows?
Sounds like one of them would, Sounds like it's above our pay grade, man. Just walk away from it and count on blessings.
So yeah,
I'm
back in the real world now. So yeah, it's I'm done with that. My investigation cap is firmly off. Unless anything changes, I'm done with that. I'm kind of back to my day job.
Sounds like it's for the best. You got to put your health first.
We'll leave it to the people who get paid to do this stuff. I'm not risking my life for the sake of the truth and justice anymore.
Shane McMahon's put out a hit on you, I reckon.
He could be involved. Like at the end of the day, if someone else is involved and it turns out someone else is behind box, I still would not be convinced David Arquette is behind that person. There's too much. Anyway, someone's going to listen to this and be knocking on my window in a few days. So no, I'm done. That's it.
We know Triple H listens to the podcast. That's why he disrupts all of our audio. So we'll leave it there.
Exactly. Speaking of the Outrunners, though, which we did touch on there slightly, isn't it great to see that Tony is actually following what we told him to do, and that the Outrunners are going to get strapped up?
Fuck yeah.
When they announced that tag tournament, I was like, fucking yes.
Yeah. Who have they got?
Outrunners Top Flight. It's so annoying I don't remember this. I've looked at it about 20 fucking times.
It's Outrunners Top Flight. It's FTR against...
it's House of Black.
House of Black.
I know they got House of Black, yeah.
I think
LFI
House of Black
against...
Oh yeah, I've got it here. It's Outrunners Top Flight, FTR House of Black, LFID Acclaimed.
Yes, there you go.
Fuck me, I forgot about them. Well, they might not be a tag team for much longer by the looks of it, but we'll...
I watched Collision back earlier, and if stories are anything to go by, like Outrunners and FTR got involved with them in the ring, and then the Acclaimed had their backstage segment. So that's the... I mean, I'd like to see at least one of LFI or House of Black in this match, if I'm being perfectly honest. Just for the dynamism of it, just for the athleticism side of things, as much as anything, to have a bit more of a balance. But I reckon it could be that's when the Acclaimed, the split happens then. Or I mean, hopefully they fuck up in the match, they lose their match to LFI. I'll be very happy with that, and that can be the start of their real like flirting with the breakup more. But I would say they'll probably win that match somehow, and then they'll split or really tease it at the pay-per-view when they don't win.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the skit with the card, with Bowens finding it when Max was like, showing off about how much money he's got, it was kind of like, it's become real now. It feels like it is like just finally starting to happen, because I'll be like, lots of people have been flirting with the idea of of Bowens being a top singles guy, because he is, for lack of a better word, like the Shawn Michaels of the group.
Yeah.
And I think, Brett, you touted it like not long ago about how Bowens in the Continental Classic would actually be quite sick. I can't disagree with you there.
You know what?
Like,
I've literally, this has come into my head just now. Do you know what I would actually do? We've got, like, I keep thinking badly that I want the Hurt Syndicate to have someone younger that they can be pushed. Like, you've got Bobby's the muscle, you've got Shelton's, I suppose, is an element like the physical brains of the operation, you've got the mouthpiece. I would like someone young to be the forefront of that group. I would be down for them teasing Max is going to join and flirting with it, and Bowens just turns on Max, beats the shit out of him, and he joins them.
Yeah.
Because I don't think,
actually,
I think as a singles face at the moment, he might just get lost a little bit too much. I think having that for the X amount of time, the guy who's like 20 years younger than anyone else in that group, to be what essentially would be the focal point, to some extent they push as being their product, I suppose, I would be down for that.
It's either Bowens or like Leo Rush, I think.
Leo Rush, it would be brilliant for that. I think he's brilliant. I would love Leo Rush to, and plus it would take him out of Top Flight, which I want. I want Top Flight going back to a tag team. And by the way, while I'm on that, how good was Action Andretti the other day? Sorry, how good was Dante Martin the other day?
Dude, I was gonna say with Bowens, like, you could use the Continental Classic to kind of use it as a vehicle of the Hurt Syndicate keeping their eyes on Bowens. Like, let's say whatever match he'll be involved in the tournament, you'll cut to the back where it's MVP, Lashley, and Benjamin looking at the monitors. Or here's an even better idea. You might be crazy for this. Throw both Bowens and Caster in the CC, different brackets. And you know what? You could kind of play off in the sense that maybe in a sense that you could have the Hurt Syndicate, MVP, and all them watching the monitor during the matches and whatnot. You'll have an instance where they'll have a match, like, put them in the same bracket. You could tease like whoever the winner is, like the Syndicate will take. And you could go either way in there, or my original idea, have Bowens, kind of have that as a vehicle. He's going to show out in the CC, and you could use that as a vehicle, like I said, the Hurt Syndicate keeping their eyes on Bowens, in a sense. Like, they'll tease taking Caster, like Mark just said, but in the end, Bowens turns on Caster, he beats him down, and Bowens, I think, in the Hurt Syndicate would be a great look for him.
There's so many people you can put in the Continental Classic this year. Like, you can literally, like, narrowing it down to 6 people per bracket is fucking hard.
Yeah.
I struggle to think who they put in, to be honest. But I know that whoever they put in all, like, both brackets will just, like, tear it up, because, like, late 2023 was a pretty bleak time for programming. It was very inconsistent. But then when the tournament started, I was fully tuning in every single week, every Dynamite, every Collision, and every Rampage. I think there was a couple of matches on Rampage as well, but I loved it. And this year you've got that little bit extra star power. You can literally make the tournament must see. Fuck it. Because they put, like, Jay Lethal in it last year, and he was just there to take the falls. Like, Garcia, obviously, he got that big win over Brody. That was a nice moment, but he's more established now. He's a bit more, he's a bit like of a level above of where he was last year. But now you've got, like, so many sort of upper card talent that you can really start to showcase, just having these incredible matches like every week where you don't really know who's going to win. It felt
that's what you want from it, don't you? You'd love to go into that and think, you look at both groups and think, I haven't got a fucking clue who's actually going to win this. That's what you want. And you're right, what you said before. last year, the start of this tournament was the catalyst for a genuine change. And again, I don't give a fuck about the ratings. I don't give a fuck about the outdated Nelson ratings that 12,000 people. I don't give a fuck about attendances, which again, about 3,000 to 3,500 pretty much every week again now. So they're kind of back where they were, barring the 3 or 4 months spent in 2021. Don't give a fuck about that. From a subjective point of view, from my subjective point of view, that was the start of them being on this, what has been an excellent run since then. A couple of week shows, that's inevitable. It's weekly TV. There's going to be some shows that are going to be a bit of a miss, but the consistency started with that, especially for Dynamite. And barring maybe 2 or 3 episodes, it's been probably an 8 out of 10 most weeks since then.
It's been consistent all year. It's like we were saying, people like this. This is why I'm quite big on. I'd rather see people being positive now, because I'm sick of thinking a show was good and then you go on and people are looking for things to be unhappy about. You know, oh, this segment was rubbish. Well, okay, it's a segment. Fucking was the rest of the show good? Good. You know, the rest of the show is excellent. It's a variety show. It's not going to be tailored to your own personal taste every week. None of us would make good bookers for that exact reason.
But we know how that works with AEW. Can have 10 segments on a show. If 8 are good to great and 2 are bad to awful, they're the 2 segments that are going to get focused on. WWE, 100%. On the other hand, can do 10 segments. If 9 of them are either bland or actively bad, but they have 1 brilliant segment, that's what's going to get mentioned.
Yeah, AEW are measured differently.
Last week, the last 30. I actually watched the last. I caught the end of SmackDown because I had it on season link for like 2.5, 3 years. Although I watch it probably once in a blue moon. Everyone banged on about SmackDown, so I stuck it on the Saturday when I was just doing some. Well, I was working from home, and the first 80 minutes or so were not good. Then the last half an hour or so was really good. The whole thing was really, really well done. It was really good TV. But the rest of their week was not good. But suddenly everyone said, oh, the gap between AEW and WWE has never been bigger. Because they had 1 fucking good segment. They had a half an hour out of 5 hours of main roster TV that was good. And then 4.5 hours subjectively that was not good. And it is what it is. I'm not going to sit here and say the segment was bad. It was great. But AEW literally have the roles reversed for perception. And that, again, that's a social media thing, obviously. But we can't say it doesn't have an impact because it clearly does.
Yeah, I just get tired of people just like finding things to complain about. But no, we're not going to give them any kind of like satisfaction like this week. We're not going to give them any airtime because they don't deserve it. So instead,
every Thursday though, honestly, the first couple of people that speak, throw some negative shite out there and look for it. I'm just blocking now. I can't be asked.
Yeah, fuck it. You're right. It's the best thing to do.
Best thing to do, though, like for all of us, is to just gradually get off Twitter and just go join Blue Sky, because I've quite enjoyed that so far. Actually, it feels like it's a little bit the same interface as Twitter, so it's easy to navigate, and you can join like basically like a predefined sort of like almost like a group of wrestling. Someone in the Discord actually posted a link where you can mute all like the negative grifters, because naturally some of them have made their way over to there.
That was great.
Probably in an attempt to stir up some more, negative shite. But it's an immediate mute and block list, or a mute list at least. And I immediately did that. So my timeline on Blue Sky is full of just like people being gassed about wrestling, which is what you want. You just want people just to enjoy it, isn't it?
100%.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was why we started this podcast, wasn't it? Though, because we were sick of all these other podcasts just shitting on everything for clicks, and for engagement. I mean, what culture used to be all right? Now they're the most miserable fuckers on the planet.
They've always been miserable, but there was a charm to Sid, which is misery. Exactly. But now that's gone completely, because he doesn't take enjoyment out of anything. I'm like, if I hated something this much, I would I work in football. If I stopped enjoying the football that much, I'd stop working in it. Like I could not work in something that I seem to hate 99% of the time. But
it felt like to me. It felt to me like he was enjoying it when he thought he was clever and it was a niche thing that nobody else would like, and that's why he would tell you why it was so good. But as it's got bigger, now it's not a small niche thing anymore, and he's not the arbiter of what is good in wrestling. Then now he's not enjoying it anymore, so now he has to find ways to shit on it, and it's just like, why try and why would you try and ruin someone's enjoyment of anything? Tell people why they should enjoy something.
It's a fucking stupid TV show. It's just like watching like EastEnders. Like nobody should be this. Nobody should be like this upset about like a TV show, that a scripted form of entertainment that, not everyone's going to like it, not everyone's going to hate it. So just take comfort in what you like and stop like shitting on other people's enjoyment.
Imagine someone tell you how much they liked the last episode of EastEnders, and you going, well, let me sit down. Let me tell you why.
I'm going to tell you why you're
not
wrong.
have enjoyed it, yeah, and why I am right, and that you should be watching something else. Fuck off. See, I like that. That's what annoys me when people start coming out with these Dynamite was a fucking 7 because of this segment. Fuck. Well, I might have enjoyed that segment. You're not the fucking, and then they start going. Oh, they start saying. They talk about it as though it's fact, and they go, "Well, it's my own subjective opinion," and you're like, "That is not subjectivity." So shut the fuck up. You can't fucking tell people they're wrong and then claim it's subjectivity.
Going back to What Culture really quick, can we just get a shout out for Simon Miller again? Because he's a gem. He's a good guy. Still don't know whether he's put himself on the list after what he did at Progress.
He's an inspiring man. He's an influence to all of us, especially fellow bald men who do wrestling themed podcasts. I did tell you I inquired about going back to training there in wrestling training, all because of Simon Miller and his his kind of passion for the business.
That's it, mate. Like, as also a fellow bald man, wearing a Bandito mask every day, I can confirm that it's a joy to wrestle and train. I actually did manage to train with Simon a couple of times, and he was always very, very pleasant to be around. So, more power to you, my friend. It's too late for me. Like, I can't do it, but it is what it is. So I wish you prosperity in the wrestling ring, and just make sure that you pack an umbrella on standby to defend yourself.
One of the radioactive ones that I've been prodded with. Yeah,
absolutely.
So, new segment for the podcast this week. Those of you that follow our beloved Mark on Twitter will know it's time for Mark's Wrestling Roundup of the Week.
Recapping last week in wrestling Twitter, MCMG won the tag titles in just their second week on SmackDown, a refreshing injection of energy for a show that's been as entertaining as being waterboarded for the past half a year. TNA had their biggest crowd for Bound for Glory in over a decade and celebrated that by putting their tag titles on the Hardys in 2024. Raw maintained its October form by being as enjoyable as hemorrhoids. WWE confirmed their new ID scheme to either benefit the indies or basically monopolize and fuck it over, depending on your viewpoint. You're definitely a glass half full person if you think they give a flying dick about benefiting anyone but their shareholders. A very good episode of Dynamite saw Mark Davis return, Private Party win the tag titles, and Bobby Lashley debut. So lots of people spend their evening focusing on Adam Cole's tits. Cody Rhodes went on a rather odd body-shaming rant, forgetting his father was clinically obese. Men with high blood pressure, no gym membership, and holes in their underwear put Adam Cole's physique under the microscope. Eric Bischoff was confirmed as general manager for one night of MLW. MLW, 2002 to 2024.
While Mark's taking a drinks break, we got to just touch on the WWE ID thing really quick, because again, let's try and be positive about it, because I mean,
there's not much to be positive about it, Tom.
Exactly. I can't.
To be positive about it, we'd probably be best not talking about it. Like, I suppose we have to, but it's impossible to be positive about it.
Well, it's like we were saying, when we were doing the Progress thing. I remember saying how I didn't want like another repeat of NXT UK, and this got announced like the day after we launched this episode, or like maybe the day of. And I was just thinking, like, oh my god, like my worst nightmares have come true. I just really hope they don't fuck it up. Just really, we need the indies, man. We need them to thrive and to blossom, and for people to be able to kind of go and work where they want to work. Granted, it's fair to say that a large portion of them will want to try their luck at WWE and NXT at some point. Like, there's no denying that it's the biggest name in wrestling. So, but now that you've got another big North American company in the fold, and you've still got a pretty revitalized British indie scene, why would you try and limit their options just because they go to a certain school? It just doesn't seem fair to me, you know.
For that reason exactly, to limit their options. They just don't want talent going to. They don't mind you existing. I think this has been said before, is that they don't mind you existing if you know your place and you stay at the bottom and you don't even tread on anything they do. And if you're okay with them picking your talent whenever they want. If you exist and you're actually trying to compete, they hate that. And this is like everywhere. I mean, it's transparent as fuck. All they want to do is prevent any talent going to AEW. That's the whole point of this. It's stupid. And like the way schools are going to go now, they're going to try and train people to work the WWE style. That's just going to limit the different types of wrestlers we're going to get out of these places. It's stupid. Like, why would you do that? I mean, like, imagine if everyone had trained the WWE style for the last 20 years. We wouldn't have half of the fucking cool shit that we have now, because no one would have tried anything different. You wouldn't have an Eddie Kingston. You wouldn't have a Vikingo. But we know you wouldn't have had Kenny Omega. If it's all based on the WWE style, it's just stupid. Like, and I've got to be honest. If it was the WWE style from 10 years ago, I wouldn't be watching wrestling now. I wouldn't have any interest in it because it bored the living shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give a go at trying to be positive. Yeah, it'll benefit those that want to benefit from it. Hear me out a minute. Just as I said, trying to be positive. I mean, I promised to be positive this week, so I'll give it a go. The people whose only goal is WWE, like I've gone into wrestling to get to WWE. It'll benefit them because they'll sell their souls or whatever and do the WWE style, and it'll fast track them to WWE, and that'll be great. And that is about as far as the positives go.
But will it though? Because like that's like it's like a footballer saying they want to play for a certain club, and all they're aspiring to do is play for that club. Like they're not taking any chances. Their career's going to go down the pan because they're only focusing on one thing only, and they're refusing to look at any alternatives. And if someone signs up to this agreement, that's what they're going to do. I mean, it's like an actor, like, my dream in life is to be an EastEnders, so they spend their life training to, do improv around a fucking bar and Phil Mitchell, and then, they're not suited for any other roles then. I don't know. I just don't. I don't see a positive in it at all from anyone's point of view apart from the WWE.
I'm trying very hard to be positive, and I'm probably giving too much leeway, if I'm honest.
What about all the gymnasts and the ex-lacrosse players now? What are they going to do now that they're not going to be getting trained in to be wrestlers?
Well, they'll go to the wrestling schools, won't they? They'll get sent to Booker School and the Nightmare Factory.
I don't think they're going to be going out and picking up people who've been cut from the fucking lacrosse team, are they? They're going to be looking at people who want to wrestle.
Are they? Because we know that Fed has scouts overtly placed in like all these kinds of league, like the NFL and the NBA and all these kinds of people who didn't make it like as a top name in those kinds of professional sports. And well, if they got a good look and if they've got a good physique and everything like that, they can, train them on the basics to be a wrestler, and they can just send them the Nightmare Factory or the whatever Booker T's school's called, and whatever the other ones are, can't remember. And they'll just fast track them through, so they can just go to eventually being on NXT and just putting on 1 to 2 star matches, and that being their ceiling.
I didn't get the impression that's what they were doing. So I don't know, maybe I read it wrong, but from when I was reading it, I got the impression that it was more so they can literally just be hands off and just take their pick of any of the up and coming talent. So they're not actually going and looking for people who may make good wrestlers. They're just going to let the schools deal with that themselves. And if any good talent's in them schools, they'll just cherry pick whatever they want. and prevent them from going elsewhere. I didn't get the impression that they were going to be saying, "Oh, there's an ex-basketball player here who looks like they could be shit if they trained. We'll send them to school."
They may not have said it directly, but I'm just saying, like, based on their track record, that's kind of stuff that they've done.
Yeah, no, I get that, but like this felt to me like it was a case of why do we need to spend money doing this when we can just take our pick from all of the from these indie schools that will be grateful to have some kind of connection with us. It felt like it was a case of we don't need to do any of this. We'll just take whatever we want whenever we want.
Well, the answer is probably both, to be honest with you, Andy, because if you look for example, it's a prime example. You got Bianca Belair. Yeah. Bianca Belair was a weightlifter. She got spotted by Mark Henry. Mark Henry said to Bianca, "I'll get you a tryout at WWE." She went for the tryout, she got it. She's now Bianca Belair. So what I now think will happen, again, I might be wrong, I'm speculating. If now, in 2024, a Mark Henry sees a Bianca Belair, he'll say to her, "Go to Booker's school and book her a trainer and she'll go to the Fed." Or I can see a situation where the Fed might spot someone, again, just to use an example, like Bianca, and then go, "Look, we'll sign you onto this ID contract, pay you whatever it is, train with Booker, and then come up to NXT," like Dan said.
I see. I think that they'll do that in very rare occasions, because at the end of the day, these people aren't going to be on an NXT wage like they are now. They're gonna be just training at school. Yeah, the school fees might be paid, but they're still gonna have to support themselves while they're, taking on whatever indie dates they're allowed to do. So you ain't gonna be able to get someone and say, "Look, go and train," because they're gonna be like, "Well, no, I can make more money doing something else." They might have another career as a trainer or a fitness model or an athlete in another area, whatever. They ain't going to be able to just put the life on hold while they just go and train at a school that, while it might be being paid and they might get some expenses, they ain't going to be making a decent wage to that they can kind of live on.
Well, I mean, I hope in the interest of trying to be positive, I hope that it's a case of where if they are signed, if someone young and is trying to sort of make a name for themselves, and they're signed to like an ID contract or something, I hope that there is a situation where they are sort of financially compensated enough to be able to support themselves, to dedicate more of their time to training and getting better and learning and everything, not just the expenses, but they're actually like earning like a decent wage from it. So I hope I hope if there is positive change to come from it, then I hope that's like part of it, because
you would hope so.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, if that was the case, there wouldn't be all this talk about them shutting down the performance center or moving the performance center. It would have, they would just be using the performance center, and if they find someone good, getting them, kind of relocated and based there. As it stands now, just from what I was reading, it sounds like they're just going to let indie talent carry on as indie talent do, and when the good ones do come through, that do make it big, they're just going to pick whatever they want and prevent them going anywhere else.
Definitely something to sort of keep an eye on, and possibly discuss when we find out a bit more about when it comes to fruition.
It would be like a football team signing up. Well, it is. It's like what Man City have done with some of these other teams.
Yeah.
Where they're buying other clubs and saying, "Well, if you can't sell them players anywhere else, we want them, and we'll tell you who to have whenever you want it." It would be like them doing it with a whole host of football academies around the world. It's just wrong. No, fuck them. It's wrong.
You know what? Yeah, fuck it. Just for this one thing, fuck the positivity. It's shit. It's gonna be shit. I just hope that enough schools see that it's shit and protect their integrity. And one thing I do want to mention about that quick, did anyone see Dustin Rhodes' tweet? Sharing his school and basically doing everything but saying, "We are not WWE ID. Come train with us." Thought that was great. I thought I'd get that in there.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? The Rhodes Wrestling Academy is not on the list, is it? Thankfully.
Oh, did you see one is? Yeah, Nightmare Factory is. Did you see his tweet that I'm talking about, Andy?
I think so. Yeah. I hope doesn't go and get in bed with them, like, but who knows? Suppose he'll do whatever he has to, doesn't he? With regards to, I mean, his contract's up anyway, isn't it? So I hope he'll do whatever I think he'll do whatever he has to, or, whatever he feels he has to in terms of for his, financial stability, really.
I hope he re-signs with AEW. I'm a big fan of Dustin. I think he's another legend.
He's a double champion.
No, it's insane going into a possible Ring of Honor TV deal with your double champion contract being, having been expired. It's just bizarre. I don't know. Like,
it seems weird.
It's an oversight, isn't it? Really. I mean, unless they're on such good terms that he's not bothered. Like when Mox's contract expired, and he was like, "Oh, whatever," he's going nowhere.
At some point, this will bite you in the arse, though, because at some point, someone won't be loyal because money talks. And I don't see Dustin having a bad relationship with them. I think it's a big fucking risk.
It is. I mean, it's not going to be a Lex Luger situation in terms of the size of the wrestler, but it's still dangerous, and it's still a bad look if the Ring of Honor double champion turns up on fucking NXT.
Yeah,
it's because I'm not even thinking he'd go to Raw, but if he turns up on NXT and he's the double Ring of Honor champion, that's a very bad look.
Exactly. Yeah, very bad.
Especially if Ring of Honor does have a new TV deal and your champion's MIA, you need to remedy that ASAP before the the TV deal starts.
Well, for all the flack that Tony gets online, I mean, you can't deny. Yeah, he's very enthusiastic. He's very passionate. He's also quite smart. He is. We can't deny his intelligence. So unless they're just keeping it really under wraps.
Are any of you lads like me? Sorry. Just when you talk about Tony, are any of you lads like me where he breaks your brain? Because I should hate the fact because he's a billionaire. I hate billionaires, but I just love Tony Khan. He's brilliant. Like when he was there with that video of him at the show the other night with his time cop hat on, and he's like, man, he's fucking brilliant. Like I can't hate him, and I feel like I need to hate him because he's a billionaire.
I know it's such a polarizing thing, isn't it? When you actually see him just being so enthusiastic and actually very charitable. Like you actually see him, when there's kids, for example, with disabilities who make their way to shows, and he actually really goes above and beyond, moves heaven and earth to make sure that they're okay and everything. And it's hard not to take a charitable act like that, to heart, and actually think, what, maybe there is a good guy beyond the fact that he's just richer than some countries in the world. You know what I mean? So
it breaks my brain. I can only assume it's because he's inherited the money. He's maybe has a slightly different outlook than someone who's built this up.
Going back to what I was saying really, really quickly, just very briefly, was about for all the hate he gets just for being enthusiastic and passionate, and maybe a little bit not always great at explaining things sometimes. I'd like to think that he's really, really smart, and wouldn't let double champion just go just like that, without a contract. And so unless they're keeping it under wraps, like what they're doing, I guess, with Kevin Owens, and where nobody really knows what's going on with him, maybe it's just like that. And but Dustin does have that sort of old school mentality where loyalty means a lot to him, and it clearly does. So hopefully he'll just actually if he is going to go, then he'll just do business and either drop the belts, or hand them over, or they vacate them, or something like that. Just when Ring of Honor's on the cusp of a TV deal by teams, then it's just and the worst happens, then it's just not going to do him any favors, is it? So
his biggest criticism for the biggest criticism I have of Tony is probably he does seem too nice in this business, and maybe he's given a bit too much. He's trusting in these guys a little bit too much. And like Mark said, one of these days it is going to fuck him over.
I mean, at the same time though, you can look at the talent, as far as Dustin Rhodes and even John Moxley before him, where his contract came up. You look at those guys in the sense that those guys have been in the business for what, 20, 25 years, a couple of decades. So in a sense, like, as you know, they know how to do business the right way. Like, you know, they're not, and neither one is near literally like a social media driven where they have to explain everything that's going on behind the scenes. Like we know, I think that like Dustin's the type of guy that he lets us know what we need to know. You know, so I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they're on a handshake deal right now, him and TK, maybe on an appearance basis, or where they're working out something, you know, putting more pen to paper in the background and the scenes. But you look at the timing of you know, the news coming out, potential TV deal for Ring of Honor might be on the come up, and then you hear about Samoa Joe, like season 2 of Twisted Metal just wrapped up, so he might be back in the fray soon. And you have Jericho as the Ring of Honor champion. Remember, in kayfabe and TV terms, it was Jericho who took out Samoa Joe, you know, with the forklift into that match. So if you go TV deal, I mean, damn, like Samoa Joe and Chris Jericho program is a good way to start off your new TV program.
That's a hell of a debut show, isn't it? That title change on your first show as well. Samoa Joe, the Ring of Honor champ. That would be fucking brilliant.
And then you know, just real quick, and then you know we can move on if you guys want. Like whatever the terms are of their TV deal, whether it's on whatever channel, whether it's on Tubi, whether it's on one of the other Turner network shows, whatever time, it's already a victory for Tony Khan and AEW. That's just added on revenue on top of what they're already getting from the new contract that they just got last month. So whatever the details are, whatever time frame, whatever day it is, it's already a net positive. It's going to get more eyes on it, more attention than it is already right now. And then if Tony's going to treat it like a true feeder system for AEW, which I think he will, there is so much great young talent on Ring of Honor that's going to get way more exposure from the likes of you know, you have Lee Johnson, you got the Judge Joku on their great young tag team. You have Infantry, who just joined up with Shane Taylor and the rest of the guys. I mean, we haven't seen an Infantry, like that's another good tag team on the rise. Then you have Billy Starks there, Athena as well. So, you know, like I said, it's already a net positive, whatever the terms are when they do show up on television.
It's important for me that it is a direct roster split. There's no
100%.
Absolutely.
No crossover at all, ever.
I don't mind crossover but I want it to be like it was when AEW first started, where holy shit, the fucking Ring of Honor champions on. I like you know, a one-off, like, and it's like, whoa, what the fuck? Not where they're just on every week with the belt, and it's just, you know, meaningless because they're always there. I'd like if it's a one-off, like maybe a TNT challenge or something. I don't mind that. But if it's on it can't be like it is now, where it's completely meaningless. You know, Ring of Honor tag titles on AEW they were on AEW for like a year and meant nothing when the Kingdom had them. I love Mark Briscoe, but him as the Ring of Honor champion has meant nothing because he's just on AEW every week. So it has to be a roster split, and if you do crossover, the crossover has to mean something. So it has to be limited, like extremely limited to like kind of, you know, one random appearance kind of, you know, in a year, or at least every 6 months or something, rather than just as it has been, where, you know, your Ring of Honor champion is just a member. The fact that he's in the conglomeration is more important than the fact that he's the Ring of Honor champion.
Yeah.
But like, it's great though. I mean, I'm excited because Ring of Honor's have done some great stuff, but it just doesn't get the eyes because it's Honor Club. If they've got a TV deal, it's going to be the potential's fantastic. I mean, you obviously the assumption is that's why Jericho's got the belt, and you would also assume that's why GYV are over there now to give some decent size
names to the ranks,
yeah. And like, hopefully they'll start doing that more now, and kind of, you know, we'll start to see some people shifting across. I can't, like, you know, whatever the first show is, you've got to have a title switch on that first show, and if they go Samoa Joe, Chris Jericho, that'd be a fucking great debut show.
That. Also, with the right roster split, and it's allowed like a bit of time for the Ring of Honor to sort of like do its own thing for a bit. You know, down the line, if you build up enough people to a level where they can like maybe have a dream match with someone from AEW, then that's just going to draw more intrigue into the product, isn't it? Because people love dream matches, especially
exactly.
with the roster that AEW has. Like, there's so many.
Well, like I say, for me,
so
the crossovers didn't really I actually thought they were really good until Tony bought Ring of Honor, because before that you would have the Ring of Honor, a Ring of Honor TV champion or the Ring of Honor champion turn up, and it would mean something because it'd be like, holy fuck, they've come from another promotion. What's it? But since he bought Ring of Honor, it's more just been the same thing. It has felt completely meaningless, and the titles have been completely pointless. So yeah, the sooner they do a big split and we get a separate TV show, the better. And I'd be excited because I think there's a hell of a lot of potential there.
100%. It will maybe if it's got a TV deal, I know I can access it easily without. Like, I don't want to pay for another service of wrestling. You know what I mean? I want to consume it for free, like I do most of my TV shows.
Yeah.
So, but if they do, and if I know they're going to have like their own identity, their own roster again, which, let's be fair, they haven't had really, with barring like Athena and Billy Starks, they haven't had it anywhere near enough. It would make me, I would definitely give it a proper go. I'd give it a good few months and hope it kept me invested. I
mean, like, and you could, I if Samoa Joe isn't going to be on there, I think that'd be the great day. But if he's not, I've Dalton Castle win the title when he's back.
Yeah, when he's back. Yeah,
yeah. Dalton Castle and his boys against fucking Jericho, Big Bill, and Brian Keith. Maybe his boys could be the Outrunners again.
Yeah.
Although I prefer them, because I want them to have the tag titles.
It's like, but even like, say, like in a year's time, if you got Ring of Honor with a proper roster, you could do like a 3-week, 4-week tournament on Ring of Honor, and the winner gets a spot in the C2. But it means something because they've been off AEW for a year because they're only on Ring of Honor.
Yeah. I just want the C2 to go back to just be a one-off tournament, to fuck the belt off. But I don't even think they'd need a tournament for that. But for what you just suggested, it could just be like New Japan. They could just bring someone in from, externally from Ring of Honor. One of the entrants could be from Ring of Honor. They don't have to have won it. But that would be good. That would add a bit of importance to it. But
that's what I mean. No, because that's why you could just do it as well. It's Hook from Ring of Honor, but if Hook's had to go to a 3-week, 4-week tournament on Ring of Honor TV to get to the C2 tournament, it adds importance to the tournament. It puts momentum behind Hook. Obviously I'm going to use Hook because I'm the Hook guy, as you know.
You're not going to get any arguments from me about putting Hook in Ring of Honor, mate.
If it was up to me, I'd have him be TV champion for like a good 6 months. I'd have him beat Brian Cage.
I wouldn't go that far. It's probably the best place you could put him in to actually, for him to develop and expand his catalogue of moves.
Yeah. I'd go the other way. I'd send him to Japan, but I get what you mean.
No, I wouldn't mind that, to be honest. I'd just like to see him sent somewhere because they've tried, but I personally, with me, it doesn't do anything. But he clearly has a lot of fans. He clearly does well because we all know Tony's very, very stats based with everything he does. So I think we suggested, didn't we? Maybe it's the women's demographic he does well in, but he clearly does something well to get on TV as much as he does.
I would hope, like, if he hasn't done so already, that Tony would invest like in just a smaller venue for Ring of Honor TV, kind of like what they do for NXT. Now, if they're with their weekly taping, like, I think a small little venue for their weekly TV taping, I think would be perfect for them. It'd be good aesthetic for TV. Just a few hundred people. You don't need to, because it's just kind of awkward when you do it before or after Dynamite or Collision. You have a lot of people who leave after those shows or who aren't there yet for the main shows. So, do like, the residency that they did in, I think it was in San Antonio this past summer leading up to All In. It doesn't have to be that arena, but a similar small arena like that, get maybe a few hundred, maybe 1,000 people for weekly television. I think that'd be perfect for them.
The one that makes the most sense for me is the one they were doing originally before they signed for Collision, where they were going to film Ring of Honor in Universal Studios, and they were going to do Dark at the same time. It'd be great if they went back to that. It's a great event, like it's a great little spot for that. It's perfect size, really. TNA used to, film their shows there.
It reminds me, just going back to Ring of Honor, like when Sinclair first bought the company off of Barry Silkin, I think it was, when they started situating themselves out of, I think it was Baltimore, and they had like most of their shows there. But then a large part, apart from when the creative start sort of taking a dip, they tried to sort of pour the show a bit too much, and the attendance kind of suffered because they started booking venues where they couldn't feasibly house Ring of Honor and everything like that. So it's a risky move, especially if you're trying to do it alongside AEW. And so, have it situated out of one place. Like, I don't know whether they go with Florida because that seems to be a bit of an AEW base at the moment, or whether that would be too competitive because of NXT or whatever. But maybe just do it in somewhere like Philadelphia, or I don't know. Just thinking of cities off the top of my head.
Universal Studios makes perfect sense because TNA never had any issues filling it when they were there, because you just get the fans who were in the studios anyway, and there's the option to go and watch wrestling while you're there. Because I went to a TNA pay-per-view there once because we were at Universal Studios and the pay-per-view was actually on in one of the lots, and it was free. Right. You pay to get in, you can just go and watch it. I think it was Sacrifice I went to in like 2008 or something. But yeah, no. So TNA never had any issues filling it, and I think WCW used to do that as well. If I remember rightly, years ago. So I think that's perfect. They'd get it filled. You're only looking at hundreds of seats really, and it would keep you'd have that kind of solid kind of consistency with the Ring of Honor look and feel, which I think they need. Rather than like I think Brett just said there that half the matches as it stands now are filmed by kind of at midnight when people have fucked off or before people are actually in the arena. So it doesn't have that feel,
For the final section of this week's podcast, if you would have seen on Twitter, on Mark's Twitter, he's went and asked us some questions. We're going to run through them quickly. Do you want to start us off, Mark?
Yeah, thanks to everyone. There was a lot of people, to be fair, that did ask us. I did ask for ones that required yes or no answers, but it's all good. I appreciate everyone that has did message in, and a lot of them are subjects we will touch on in the future. So thank you for that, because we've probably got some ideas about future things we're going to talk about. But we have nailed it down from about 40 and very random. But thank you for wasting your time and my time nonetheless. But I've got it down to 4. So the first one we're going to do is shout out to the greatest tag team of all time and avid listeners of the show. Do you see the Outrunners being AEW Tag Champions this year?
Absolutely.
Absolutely not.
I don't think it's yet. I'm
going to say no to this year, but yes to next year.
Yeah. I think yes. Okay. Yeah, yes, 100%. It's happening.
I say no. I say no because you look at the potential 4-way match for the belts at Full Gear. You can have them, probably Private Party, FTR, and maybe LFI. I think you're going to see the first step in a setup feud between the Outrunners and FTR. Eventual heel turn from FTR. I think you're going to get that feud before you get an Outrunners one-on-one tag team title match.
You know what? I'm changing my answer. I didn't realize it was November. So actually, it's literally are they going to be the tag champions within the next 2 months? No, I don't. I think no. Maybe I think early next year.
Yeah,
I think they win it at Full Gear. I'm pinning that to the post.
Oh no, Jesus!
I mean, I'd love it. Don't get me wrong. I'd love it, and I'd pop hard, but I just don't see it happening this year. It's a bit too late in the year. I mean, I think they would have been ones to dethrone the Bucks. Personally, I would have personally picked them. Nothing against Private Party, but I just would have loved that moment because I could see it happening early to mid next year.
Message for Tony Khan, Wednesday night.
Next one is, where is Dynamite Kid?
Dead. He's been dead since 1998 or 2008, whatever, 2018. He's with Davey Boy Smith.
So he's dead. So I think we've covered that one in depth. There's one here that I saw that I know that I think, Mike, you would be keen to go quite in depth on this one. So you can have this one. The floor's yours and yours alone. Can you explain the hype around Eddie Kingston? I've tried, but I just can't get into him. He gives off poor man's Dusty Road to me, but nowhere near as good.
Fuck off.
And on to the final question of the day. I had it here. No, we're not yet. So I did quite like this one. I'm going to shout out this question. Do you like the idea of WWE Backlash going to the Tokyo Dome next year? No, Dave, I don't.
I was just going to say, was that Dave Meltzer?
Him trying to get validation from someone else. Dave, it's not happening. Final question today. I think this is a good one. And I'm glad I'm going last with my answer because I haven't got a fucking clue I'm going to say here. But what two AEW talent that are singles competitors would you put together in a tag team?
Well, if I'm going to go first, then obviously I know my answer. I knew it the minute you asked it. Andy, I'm sorry if I'm going to steal your thunder here, but I would pick two very, very capable singles wrestlers who would thrive as a tag team, and that is MJF and Adam Cole.
Yeah, you did steal my answer, you bastard. That's exactly what I was going to do, but as heels, I'll think of something else. Go on.
No, I think, just real quick, I just think the roster is so top heavy right now, and they were thriving as a tag team, and I know the feud's been botched. I get why they're trying to put a lid on it, but I'd love nothing more than just to see them back together, but as heels. Just think it would be a better use for their characters, but yeah,
you might get that. You know, I still think we might get that. Anyway,
I'm going to cheat slightly. The Beast Mortoast and Hologram.
Interesting. Actually, no, I'm Andy. You can have that one. Actually, I've got a better one.
I've got another one though. I've got a better one.
Well, all right, you tell me yours, and I'll just go back to my reprise version. Go on.
Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. No, it's not really. It's Hangman and Swerve. I think Hangman and Swerve.
Oh, fuck you, man! Why? Why? I'm not going to again and find who I want.
I think we get it eventually, and I think it will be phenomenal.
I mean, mine does involve Hangman, but it's Hangman with two others. It's Bandido and Brian Keith.
Good one. Yeah, good one.
Oh yeah,
for obvious reasons.
I've got another one. John Cruz and Serpentico. Fuck me, what a tag team.
I've got another one. Christian Cage and Adam Copeland.
Oh, fuck off, man. I'm going home. I'm changing my name to A Wrestling Mark so I get to go fucking first from now on.
Just do one wrestling mark, yeah. Oh no! I'm sorry. I think I've taken them all now. But
I think I got
if I haven't taken any of yours, just give us yours next.
I think I got a good one. You know what? Give me Ricochet and a returning Will Hobbs.
Oh,
Ricochet and Will Hobbs. No, no way you heard that one too, man.
I'm scrolling through the roster. I just put the Hobbs and Ricochet, and you said it. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Ricochet and Ospreay would be a good one.
Oh,
do you think we get that on Wednesday? Do you think it's Ospreay Ricochet's tag team partner?
Yeah,
I don't.
Mark Davis.
No, I know who it is. We know someone who's left the company recently. It's Samantha Irvin.
Imagine that. Did you see Dijak's tweet before?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
I hope it's him now, just because I thought that tweet was excellent.
He lives close to the arena as well, doesn't he?
Yeah. I think it's Mark Davis.
Yeah, I think it is.
Mark Davis is definitely going to turn on Ospreay. Mark Davis will cost Ospreay the match at Full Gear Between, and that's my prediction anyway.
I agree. I agree. They're building Fletcher up. He's going to get a big singles win, and
Fletcher. Yeah, Fletcher has to win that match, right?
Yeah. Oh, he will. Yeah. He definitely 100% he's going to win that match. Yeah.
Well,
I bet money on that very confidently.
And as we've learned about Ospreay anyway, or as we already knew, the man is unselfish as fuck. Like he could be selfish in his position, but he's not, and he's quite happy to put anyone over, especially his fucking mate.
Yeah.
I mean, that whole thing with Swerve, where he said he suggested losing to Swerve to try and help legitimize Swerve's reign. What a fucking man!
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
he has no problem losing. Yeah.
Yeah, far cry from the fucking guys in the old days.
Yeah.
Oh, just a quick sidebar for anyone who hasn't watched Collision yet. Fletcher and Commander. If you have to watch one fucking match from Saturday, Holy shit! And first
No.
off, forget the match for a sec. Hold on, forget the match for a sec. What do we think of Fletcher's how do you say his appearance now? The haircut, the trunks.
He looked legit.
I like what he's done. He's done what like I reference Jericho just because he was the one I heard talking about it a few years ago when he came back and he changed and he went to trunks initially from tights to stand out a bit more, and that's what he's done. And it does, and it makes him look completely different. Because if he just cut his hair and come out in trunks, he wouldn't in tights. He wouldn't have looked that much different. But the trunks do give off a completely different look, and I think it's great. It really kind of enhances change in character. Little things like that do so well, you know.
The funny thing is, as well, is that I love the Commander Fletcher match, but ironically, you could argue it probably wasn't the best like AEW TV match this week. It was probably like second or third.
I thought it was rubbish, mainly because like I don't see why Commander should be losing that match after taking hitting some of the moves he did, or at least that's what I'm supposed to think, isn't it?
I was going to say, what the fuck are you on about?
No, I thought it was phenomenal. It was
so good.
It was Commander is. I'd love to see him get a few wins now because he's so fucking good.
And Fletcher gets bonus points for kicking Abrahantes in the face on the outside. he took that boot like a champ, though. He took that boot like a champ.
How old's Fletcher? He's only young, isn't he?
He's 24, 25.
That's fucking insane. That's insane, man.
Insanely good.
I'm gonna say something controversial here.
Fuck.
Shouts to MJ from Waffly Bollocks. I think the look makes him look a bit too much like Orton.
Does it, Paul? I don't know. I've seen that tweet. I disagree. I don't think it looks anything like
But
it.
is that a bad thing, though? Like, I mean, if he's going with this heel turn now, like if he's gonna go to a more vicious side, a more maniacal side, like then he's got to look for that attitude change if that's where he's going.
Well, I don't see it now because if he starts behaving more like Randy Orton, then I'm just going to fall asleep every time Kyle Fletcher wrestles.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. An exciting Orton.
Yeah.
They'd be asking you how many stars you give the match. You'd be like, I don't know. Fucking fell asleep after 2 minutes. Was it good?
Yeah.
Oh, can you imagine after Full Gear if like Mark Davis does turn on Ospreay? Ospreay like is just getting up and fucking Fletcher goes to the other corner and we get a Fletcher punt to Ospreay's head. Ooh,
Can't wait for him to call it the KKO.
Tell you what,
I've had 3 teams taken away from me. I'm going to point at 2 people and then we'll go with it. Eddie Kingston and Samoa Joe. There we are.
Yes. I was thinking of that one. I was thinking of that
spin a wheel there for that.
Eddie Kingston and Samoa Joe. There we are. Greatest tag champions in the media. I've had 4 more questions come in the time we've been doing this, but we won't be asking any more. I think we've answered enough questions, and I've had enough answers stolen away from me by you lot.
Clearly, we all think the same. That's why.
Great minds, etc.
Beautiful. It's a hard man, though. Right. Going to wrap up this week's episode there. It's been great. Just a quick rundown of the socials. I'm Mike. That's Mike GWP on Twitter, Blue Sky, and TikTok. It's a Scouse accent. If you can't understand me, it's your own fault.
My socials are DANUELKC on Twitter, even though I'm going to start using Blue Sky more. But more importantly, just follow me on the, chat with me on the Groupchat Wrestling Podcast Discord. So I'm more active there.
Andy, Ric Flair, and I couldn't give a fuck about the socials. Hopefully I'm not dying. So, yeah, thanks for listening.
That Bald Bro on both TikTok and Blue Sky and Twitter as well. All 3 of them, pretty much all the same. Yeah, man, give me a follow.
And I'm Wrestling Mark, and all I can say is, for fuck's sake, don't vote for Trump tomorrow or today or whenever you hear this. Just don't vote for fucking Trump.